I'm Dr. Emily Carter, a board-certified urologist. Let me ask you something personal. When was the last time you woke up feeling truly rested? I don't mean just less tired. I mean that feeling of natural energy, the clarity in your mind, that sense of readiness for the day. If you're a man over 50, chances are you can't even remember. You wake up, your back aches, your mind feels foggy, and you need that first cup of coffee just to feel human. You tell yourself, this is just part of getting older. You accept that vitality is a word for younger men. You accept that your energy, your drive, your very sense of masculinity is supposed to decline. I've seen hundreds of men sitting in my office describing this exact feeling. They describe a life that feels like it's slowly being turned down, like a dimmer switch, year after year. They come to me for vascular health, for circulation issues, for low energy. But when I ask them one simple question, how many hours do you sleep? Everything changes. What if I told you that chronic fatigue isn't your destiny? What if that brain fog, that lack of motivation, and even the decline in your physical performance isn't just age? What if it's a direct biological consequence of a habit you might not even realize is harming you? We're not talking about complicated diseases. We're talking about the clock. If you are sleeping less than 6 hours a night, I want you to stay with me for the next few minutes. What I'm about to share isn't my opinion. It's a scientific reality, confirmed by major university studies, about what happens to your core male hormones after just 1 week of short sleep. This isn't about feeling a little tired. This is about the rapid, measurable shutdown of your body's vitality. And it starts the moment your head hits the pillow, if you don't stay there long enough. Here is the truth that most men never hear from their doctors. In 2011, researchers at the University of Chicago conducted a landmark study. They took a group of young, healthy men. For the first week, they let these men sleep for 8 full hours a night in a lab. For the second week, they restricted the exact same men to less than 6 hours, sometimes just 5. They tracked their testosterone levels every single day. The results, gentlemen, were stunning. After just 1 week of short sleep, the daytime testosterone levels of these healthy young men had plummeted by 10% to 15%. Let me put that in perspective for you. This hormonal drop wasn't the slow, natural decline that happens over decades. It happened in 7 days. The researchers noted that this level of testosterone reduction was equivalent to aging biologically by 10 to 15 years. Let that sink in. You could be 45, 55, or 65, but if you are consistently sleeping 5.5 hours a night, your body is operating with the testosterone level of a man who might be 80. And this isn't just one study. This finding has been replicated time and time again. Poor sleep is the single fastest, most potent hormone thief we know of. It's not your diet, it's not your stress at work, it's not even your age. The number one factor that immediately craters your vitality is the time you spend asleep, or rather, the time you don't. You see, we have been taught to treat sleep as a luxury, something we try to get after everything else is done. But biologically, that is a lie. Sleep is not a luxury. It is a core biological function. And when you cut it short, your body is forced to make choices. It begins to shut down the systems that aren't essential for immediate survival. And for the male body, the first system on the chopping block is testosterone production. Your energy, your libido, your mood, your focus, all of it is sacrificed, all because you only got 5 hours. So, why does this happen? What is the precise biological mechanism that connects the hours you sleep to the core of your male identity? It's not just about rest, it's about production. Your body operates on a strict 24-hour cycle, the circadian rhythm, and it reserves specific tasks for specific times. The vast majority of your daily testosterone is not produced while you're at work, or at the gym, or eating dinner. It is produced and released during the deep stages of sleep, particularly the REM cycles that happen in the early morning hours. Think of your body as a sophisticated factory. The daytime is the operations shift, burning energy, thinking, moving. Nighttime, specifically deep sleep, is the manufacturing and repair shift. This is when the factory shuts down the main floor and turns on the machinery in the back, repairing muscle, consolidating memory, and manufacturing your hormones. When you sleep for only 5 hours, you are essentially walking into the factory at 4 a.m. and yelling, "Stop production!" You cut off the most critical manufacturing cycle. Your body simply does not have the time to complete the job. But there's a second, more insidious mechanism at play, and its name is cortisol. You know cortisol as the stress hormone. It's your body's alarm system. Its job is to keep you alive during a threat. When your body is sleep-deprived, it doesn't just feel tired. It perceives the lack of sleep as a danger. It thinks you are in a state of emergency. So, your adrenal glands start pumping out cortisol, not just during a stressful meeting, but as a constant, low-level drip 24/7. And here is the biological law you must understand. Testosterone and cortisol are antagonists. They are on opposite ends of a seesaw. When cortisol is high, testosterone cannot be. Cortisol is the hormone of survival now. It breaks down tissue for emergency fuel. It heightens anxiety. It shuts down non-essential systems. Testosterone is the hormone of vitality later. It builds tissue. It promotes calm confidence. It fuels your drive and optimizes your systems for the long term. When you are chronically sleep-deprived, your body is biologically stuck in survival mode. It doesn't have the biological resources or the safety signal to build muscle, to maintain your libido, or to manage your vascular health. That foggy, exhausted, irritable feeling you have when you're low on sleep, that is the physical sensation of a body running on high cortisol and depleted testosterone. And this is where the domino effect begins. This is where, as a urologist, I see the most devastating consequences. This isn't just about feeling tired. It's not just about losing muscle mass or gaining belly fat. Low testosterone, triggered by a lack of sleep, is a direct assault on your vascular health, your circulation, your blood flow. We often talk about testosterone in terms of drive or libido. But one of its most critical and often overlooked jobs is to help maintain the health of your endothelium, the delicate single-cell lining of all your blood vessels. This lining is the command center for your circulation. When your body has optimal testosterone, it supports the production of a crucial molecule you've heard me talk about before: nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the gas that tells your blood vessels to relax, to open, to allow blood to flow freely to every part of your body, your heart, your brain, and yes, your extremities. But when testosterone levels plummet from lack of sleep, your body's ability to produce nitric oxide diminishes. Your blood vessels don't get that relax signal. They become stiffer, narrower, less responsive. Think of it like a garden hose. Healthy circulation is a wide-open, flexible hose. Low T circulation, starved of sleep, is like having kinks all along that hose. The water pressure is there, but it just can't get where it needs to go. This is the connection that most men miss. You're worried about your performance. You're worried about your heart health. You're frustrated by that brain fog that hits you at 2 p.m. You're trying to fix the symptom, the poor circulation, but you're ignoring the cause that started the cascade, a body chronically stressed by lack of sleep, which then shut down its hormone factory, which in turn failed to protect your blood vessels. You are not broken. Your body hasn't forgotten how to function. It is simply responding, perfectly and predictably, to the emergency signal you send it every time you choose 5 hours of sleep over 7. The fatigue you feel isn't just in your head. It's in your blood vessels. They are, quite literally, tired, constricted, and struggling. Let me tell you about one of my patients. We'll call him Robert. Robert came to me at 62. He was a successful man, ran his own business, but he was visibly defeated. He sat down and said, "Doc, I think I'm just done. My energy is gone. My focus at work is shot by noon. And in my personal life, well, things just aren't working the way they used to. I feel like an old man." He was convinced his body was simply breaking down, that this was the inevitable slide of aging. He'd even had his testosterone checked by another doctor, and sure enough, it was low. His previous doctor told him, "That's normal for 62, and offered him a prescription for hormone replacement. But Robert felt uneasy. He didn't want a quick fix. He wanted to know why he felt this way. So I didn't start by looking at his hormones. I started by looking at his schedule. I asked him to walk me through his average day. Robert was a classic grinder. He woke up at 5 a.m. to check emails, worked all day, ate a late dinner, watched the news, and finally got into bed around 11:30 p.m. He'd often wake up at 3 a.m., his mind racing about work, and then drift in and out of sleep until his 5 a.m. alarm. He was averaging, on a good night, 5 hours of fragmented sleep. I looked at him and said, "Robert, your body isn't broken. It's exhausted. You are not suffering from being 62. You are suffering from chronic sleep deprivation, and your low testosterone is the direct result." I told him about the Chicago study. I explained the war between cortisol and testosterone happening inside his body every night. He was skeptical. How could something so simple be the cause of something so profound? I made a deal with him. Before we considered any medication, I wanted him to do one thing for 2 weeks. He had to be in bed, lights out, phone off, at 10 p.m. No exceptions. We would aim for 7 to 8 hours of opportunity to sleep. He agreed, reluctantly. 2 weeks later, he came back. He sat in the same chair, but he was a different man. His eyes were clearer. He was smiling. He said, "Doc, I don't know how to explain it. The first few days were hard, but this past week, I'm waking up before my alarm. The fog is gone. I feel present." He leaned in and said, "And the plumbing? It's like my body just remembered how to work again." Robert hadn't reversed aging. He had simply stopped accelerating it. He had allowed his factory to turn the machines back on. So Robert's story teaches us that making time for sleep is the non-negotiable first step. But for many men, getting into bed is only half the battle. What if your mind races? What if you fall asleep, but you wake up 3 hours later and can't get back to sleep? How do we improve the quality of that sleep and, more importantly, maximize the repair that happens during those precious hours? This is where we can be strategic. We can send our body a nighttime signal through nutrition. I'm not talking about sleep aids. I'm talking about providing the raw materials for vascular repair, timed perfectly for when your body's manufacturing shift begins. You've heard me talk about the power of purple fruits. This is where that science becomes critical. The deep, rich color in blueberries, in blackberries, in dark grapes, that color comes from compounds called anthocyanins. Most people think of these as antioxidants, but that's too simple. Anthocyanins are powerful vasoprotectors. They have a unique ability to protect and enhance the function of your endothelium, that delicate lining of your blood vessels. They work directly with the nitric oxide pathways I mentioned earlier. They help reduce inflammation and oxidative stress inside the blood vessel, making the lining more flexible and responsive. Now, imagine this. You eat a small bowl of blueberries or a handful of dark grapes 45 minutes before you go to bed. You lie down, your cortisol levels finally begin to drop. Your body enters deep sleep, and the testosterone factory starts its production run. At the very same time, those anthocyanins you ate are now circulating in your bloodstream. They are, in effect, acting as a repair crew for your vascular system. They are helping to heal the endothelium, supporting the nitric oxide pathways, and making your blood vessels ready for that fresh supply of testosterone. You are no longer just sleeping. You are initiating a deep vascular repair cycle. You are stacking the deck in your favor. You are giving your body both the time to produce the hormone and the materials to use it effectively. This isn't a miracle cure, it's biological synergy. So try this tonight. Don't think of it as a snack. Think of it as a prescription for your blood vessels. You are preparing the pipes for the flow that is about to be restored. But providing the right nutrition is only one part of the equation. We also have to actively turn off the stress signal. For many of us, especially high-achieving men, our minds don't simply shut down when our heads hit the pillow. We lie in bed, replaying the day, planning tomorrow, worrying about finances, about family. This mental activity isn't just harmless thought. It is a direct signal to your adrenal glands to keep producing cortisol. You can be lying perfectly still in a dark, quiet room, yet your body is biologically in a state of high alert. You are tired but wired. This is the worst possible state to enter sleep. You're starting the night in a cortisol deficit, making it almost impossible for your testosterone production to ever catch up. So, we need a manual override. We need a simple, physical technique to tell the body's alarm system that it is safe to stand down. The most powerful tool we have for this is not a pill, it's your breath. Your breath is the remote control for your nervous system. When you are stressed, your breathing becomes short and shallow, from the chest. This is the sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight mode. When you are calm, your breathing is deep and slow, from the diaphragm. This is the parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest mode. This is the only mode in which your body can repair itself and produce hormones effectively. You can manually flip that switch. So here is your second action for tonight. I call it the 1-minute reset. Just before you turn out the light, I want you to do this. You are going to breathe in slowly through your nose for a count of 4. You will hold that breath gently for a count of 7. And you will exhale slowly with a whooshing sound through your mouth for a count of 8. Let's think about that. A 4-second inhale and an 8-second exhale. You are making your exhale twice as long as your inhale. This long exhale is a powerful biological signal. It directly stimulates the vagus nerve, which is the primary cable of your parasympathetic nervous system. It physically slows your heart rate. It lowers your blood pressure. It tells your brain, the emergency is over. Do this just 3 or 4 times. That's all. It takes less than 1 minute. This simple act is the physiological off switch for cortisol. You are no longer hoping your body calms down. You are telling it to. This 1-minute reset, combined with the vascular support from the purple fruits, creates the optimal environment for sleep and hormone production. You are entering the night with a calm nervous system and a body primed for repair. So, let's bring this all together. For years, you've been told that feeling tired, foggy, and less driven is just a non-negotiable part of getting older. But the science is clear. What we are calling aging is, in so many cases, a simple, reversible case of chronic exhaustion. You are not running out of vitality. You are running out of sleep. You don't need a miracle pill. You need a better schedule. That study from the University of Chicago is a profound warning. Your body will biologically age itself 15 years in just 1 week if you starve it of the one thing it needs to repair. Sleep is not a luxury. It is not an extra. It is the foundation. It is the manufacturing plant for your hormones. It is the repair shop for your blood vessels. It is the command center where cortisol is silenced and vitality is restored. Your body is not broken. It hasn't forgotten how to be strong, how to be clear-headed, how to perform. It is just waiting for you to provide the simple core conditions for it to thrive. It is waiting for you to turn off the alarm system of cortisol. It is waiting for you to provide the raw materials for vascular repair. And it is waiting for you to simply give it the time to do its job. So, I am asking you to make a choice. Stop accepting fatigue as your destiny. Stop blaming age for what is simply a habit. Try this tonight. Just start with the 1-minute reset. Breathe. Tell your body it is safe. Eat a small handful of those purple fruits. Give your blood vessels the tools they need. And give yourself the gift of an extra hour of sleep. This is the first, most powerful step in taking back control. It's the secret that men like Robert discovered. Your best years are not behind you. They are waiting for you, on the other side of a good night's sleep. If this message gave you a new perspective, a sense of hope, please subscribe. I post new science-backed habits for men over 50 every single week. And please, share this with another man in your life who needs to hear this. You never know whose life you might change.